So it's becoming apparent to me my mother is doing dog whistling and narcissistic rage baiting. So I told her because I have a holiday party with the art class today. I told her, look, should I get a haircut? My hair is getting a little long. And she said, yeah, it is. And I feel like there was a hidden communication there. I feel like she was saying something that had a double meaning. But, I brushed it off and I walked and got a haircut. And, obviously when I got there, it was packed because the holidays are coming up in a day or two. And, I called my mother and I said, all right, I can't get a haircut. I'm going to get it after the holidays. It's too crowded at the barber shop. And she said, well, and she made like this sexual groan. I'm like, you know exactly what you're doing. You're trying to get me to react. You're trying to get me to flip out. This is intentional, and just somebody says somebody says this is ideas of reference. It's like when your mom asks you if you want vegetables for dinner, and you think she's calling you a vegetable mind. Maybe there's no. Double meaning. Yeah, I wanted to get a haircut, as I said. Somebody says, you got the crazy 1960s hippie hair. Yeah. I wanted to get a haircut, but it was packed there. And I'm like, I'm not waiting. There was like 7 people in the barber chair and like 3 barbers. I'm like, I'm not waiting for 7 people to get their haircut. I'm just not doing that. I guess I'm impatient and lazy. So I'm going to have the mad professor hair, I guess. I'm excited for my holiday party today. I got gifts for my friends. And somebody says, if your mother really was such a sadist and narcissistic rage baiter, she helped you pick out gifts for your friends. Why would she, do that for you, Somebody says, what would your mad professor name be? That's a good question. I don't know. I guess Waters. I can't think of anything clever off the top of my head. I can't think of anything clever off the top of my head. I don't like when people talk in code. I like when people say to my face what they're thinking. Don't talk in metaphorical double meanings. Communicate openly and honestly and transparently. Don't say these little things to get me to react, you just say it, and I guess maybe it's like when my mother asks me, you want vegetables with your dinner? She's not calling me like a vegetable mind. She's literally asking, you want vegetables with your dinner? Maybe it's delusional. Pizza Pasta's theory says, I think you have a fanciful brain that makes up weird storylines. Somebody says, maybe you watched too much sensationalistic entertainment as a kid. Yeah, I'm certainly a daydreamer. I'm certainly, always, alone in my head, imagining and, fantasizing. So, yeah, I guess it's kind of like daydreams becoming real, right? I don't know. Pizza Pasta says, my mother asked me if I want vegetables. Is she saying I have neurological damage? I don't know. Maybe she is. Maybe she's not. I don't know. Maybe it's narcissistic rage baiting. Rusty says, the only thing that speaks in code are the songs on the radio, buddy. Yeah, these pop superstars are writing songs about me, commenting about me. No, I'm an unknown. I'm a nobody. Nobody knows of me yet. I plan to be a superstar, but some people say you're approaching 40 years old. Give up the pipe dream and live in the real world. But I definitely need a haircut. I could go to the Russian barber, but I like the barber down the block now. I can see if maybe he's not jam packed. Yeah, I really need a haircut. The sauce says took a mega regimen of psychiatric medications, and now I'm like a fried 1960s hippie who took too much LSD. I know they say, the medications were protecting the receptors in my brain and the neurons. They were not frying my brain like LSD, but I don't know. I'm skeptical. The medications were not destroying my brain and rendering me a vegetable mind. I'm just gonna let the bar. Somebody says, "What type of haircut should I get?" Somebody says, "Get a boozy fade." I don't know what a boozy fade is. I just kind of like go in there. I sit down in the barber chair and I say, "You be the judge. Make me look handsome. Make me look like like one of these handsome young professionals." And he kind of just does whatever he wants. I don't really know haircuts and styles. I just let the barber make the executive decision. I say, just make me look good. Somebody says, ask for the boozy fade. Okay, Google it, they say. Let's check out what the boozy fade is. Okay. Well, I don't like, yeah, I'm checking it out now. I don't like that look. No, I don't think I'm going to get that. I want to look like one of these late night talk show hosts. I guess like Jimmy Fallon. I don't know if I want to look like Jimmy Fallon, but that's kind of the look I want. I don't know what his haircut looks like, but I'm not really too familiar with his haircut. But that's kind of the image I want. To look handsome relatively. I don't want to look like a 1960s hippie. I want to look like somebody in the year 2025. Somebody says, "What about a mullet?" No, I don't think so. I want to look like a handsome guy. That's what I want to look like Tom Cruise. Not a dirtbag. Somebody says, "Plenty of handsome men have mullets." I guess I'm not a boy, but I want to be like a pretty boy. Like one of these pretty people, the privileged people. That's what I want to look like. I don't want to look like, I want to be like one of the beautiful people. Like one of the people that's on the red carpets and smiles, and they say, "Wow, this guy is breathtakingly good looking." And I really can't pull that off with my current haircut. TB wants a quick rendition of Man Crush. I Need Ed. Okay. There one day was two ordinary men. We both happened to have hands. Andrew and Eddie. We both have a bromance. I have a man crush on Eddie. I have a man crush on Eddie. I have a man crush on Eddie. Everybody decided that man crushes are gay, but I disagree. Man crushes especially on Eddie, are very, very hetero. How could you not love Eddie? How could you not love Eddie? He takes away all the evils in the world. So needless to say, I have a man crush on Eddie. I have a man crush on Eddie. There's a friend who I turn to when times get rough. There's a friend who I turn to, but he's had enough. 'Cause I still want to play, but Ed doesn't feel that way. I need Ed to get famous. I need Ed to get famous. Ed is God. Radical Ed. Without Ed, I'd rather be dead. I need Ed to get famous. I need Ed to get famous. I want to play. I said, I want to play. But Ed doesn't feel that way. I used to have an electronic friend, but he went away. Electronic, text, that's all we did. Text, that's all we did. And we did it with our hands. Text, that's all we did. Text, that's all we did. Somebody says, ordinary men who had hands? You know, that's a genius line. I guess we texted with our hands. I don't know. I have a man crush on Eddie. I don't know. Yeah. I bailed. How does the remainder of the song go? I lost my train of thought. I know I get... I need Ed to get... I want to play. I said, I want to play. But Ed doesn't feel that way. Why won't he play with me today? Okay, now it's officially finished. Yeah, somebody says, the opening to the song, "There one day was two ordinary men, we both happened to have hands." It was meant to be a joke. But I guess it could be, you know, obviously if we didn't have hands, how would we text, right? So I guess it could be applied to the later part of the song, you know, lyrically. So, you know, all we did was text. Somebody says, have we even had a sugar daddy Santa this year? All right. So I went to the shopping mall with dreams of sugar plums in my eyes. I got up to Santa Claus. He said, "Ho, ho, ho, Merry Christmas, young man. Take a seat atop my lap." He asked me, "What's your name?" I said, "My name is Andrew." He asked me, "What's your wish for Christmas?" I said, "I want a sugar daddy who will pay for everything. I want a sugar daddy who will make me really sing. I want a sugar daddy who will fund my lifestyle. I want a sugar daddy. I ain't living in denial." Santa goes, "Ho, ho, ho, that's a very interesting wish, young man. Were you naughty or nice this year?" I said, "Santa, isn't it nice to be naughty? Sugar Daddy Santa. Sugar Daddy Santa. My parents aren't going to be around forever. I need someone to support me. Santa, maybe you could be my sugar daddy. You got a lot of money because you give out presents to everybody. I need a sugar daddy who will pay for everything. I I need a sugar daddy who will make me really sing. I need a sugar daddy who will fund my lifestyle. I need a sugar daddy. I ain't living in denial. Sugar daddy Santa. Sugar daddy Santa. Sugar daddy Santa. Sugar daddy Santa. All right, there you go, Rusty. Ask and you shall receive. Rusty says, now it truly feels like Christmas. Now it truly feels like Christmas. Yes. Yes. Somebody says, now do the Tower Social version. No, thank you. I don't know. Somebody says, somebody wants to hear me. I'm not having a fight with Tara Social. I like her covers of my songs, there's no animosity on my end. Anytime a cute woman covers your songs, that's certainly a cool thing in my book. So I got no animosity or objections, really. Somebody says, just a minor royalty. If she starts profiting off my songs and doesn't give me credit, I'll obviously be a little peeved because, I wrote the songs, and especially Sugar Daddy Santa, and, I got no money. I got like less than $1,000 to my name. So, but yeah, at the moment, there's no animosity because there's no money involved. Somebody says, somebody wants to hear me do the 75-man bukkake for my mother. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, the HIV accident wasn't my choice. Let's say there was a persecutor who did that to me. Let's say the monster behind my mask was my mother. Well, it made me feel defective and damaged. It made me feel impure. It was like there was a 75-man bukkake. It was like there was how does it go? It was like there was a bukkake of 75 men torturing me. It made me feel HIV positive. It was like there was a bukkake of 75 men torturing me. It made me feel HIV positive. So let's say there's a monster. Let's say there's a persecutor who did that to me. And let's say it's my mother. The only appropriate punishment, the only appropriate thing I can think of would be for her to do a 75-man bukkake. Because that's how the HIV accident made me feel. It made me feel defective and damaged. It was like there was a bukkake of 75 men torturing me. It made me feel HIV positive. It was like there was a bukkake of 75 men torturing me. It made me feel HIV positive. My mother would not be forced into doing this. She would be doing this voluntarily. This would be her way of apologizing, her way of saying sorry. So if she did this to me, hypothetically speaking, her way of apologizing would be for her voluntarily doing a 75-man bukkake. It was like there was a bukkake of 75 men torturing me. It made me feel HIV positive. Before the HIV accident, I felt pristine. I felt clean. I felt wholesome, pure, immaculate. But now I feel defective, damaged, and metaphorically HIV positive. So the only appropriate punishment I can think of, I can't think of any other, would be for my mother to do a 75-man bukkake. Pizza Pasta says, this is a wholesome song. Yes, very wholesome. I got to rehearse it a little bit, though. All right, so let's fucking go. We got all the cellmates in the house today. Yeah, definitely. We got all... Somebody wants a quick rendition of the Scrotumless Man. I used to be a man, but then I lost my scrotum. It was chopped off by a serial killer. Now I'm the Scrotumless Man, the infamous Scrotumless Man. Now I'm the Scrotumless Man, the infamous Scrotumless Man. Grow back, Scrotum, grow back. Scrotum. Grow back, Scrotum, grow back. Scrotum. Please grow back, please. I want my scrotum back. Now I'm the Scrotumless Man, the infamous Scrotumless Man. I used to have a scrotum, but now I'm the Scrotumless Man. That was a quick rendition of it. Now, no women want to date me, 'cause I have no scrotum. I have no scrotum. I have no scrotum, 'cause it was chopped off by a serial killer. Now I'm the Scrotumless Man, the infamous Scrotumless Man. No, I'm the Scrotumless Man, the infamous Scrotumless Man. Oh, we got a lot of long-time inpatients in the house. All right. You want me to do one of my newer songs? Give me a newer request. I know some people like my older songs better, but any of my newer ones hit? You say, I want to be a rock star. I want to be a rock star. I want to be a rock star. Ooh. And I say, hop on daddy's dick, or you will be sick. Hop on daddy's dick, or you will be sick. Hop on daddy's dick, or you will be sick. Hop on daddy's dick, or you will be sick. But you gotta be of age, alive, consenting, non-biologically related, and so on. You say, I want to be a rock star. I want to be a rock star. And I say, hop on daddy's dick, or you will be sick. Hop on daddy's dick, or you will be sick. So he says, we need a time machine. I agree, Dave. Oh, anybody ever see those time machine things on TikTok? Or, it's like, oh, it's a true crime story about somebody who was brutally murdered, and they don't know who the killer is. Yeah. It's that's what I'm like when and they play like this creepy music, like, oh, he was walking around at 3 a.m. and he was blindsided. Then he wound up disposed at Gilgo Beach. He was the victim of Rex Humerman. So he says, maybe you could do a job as an air raid siren, Andrew. Maybe. Somebody says, I want something from the new album. If I were a psychopath, 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 does that mean I'm unworthy of love, unworthy of care? Does that mean no one should be there? Friends and family say I should be isolated and rejected and bullied because I lack empathy. I'm a monster. But I'm not a psychopath. I'm diagnosed as schizoaffective. They just like to say I'm a psychopath. That way they can justify isolating, ganging up on, and bullying me. And if I were a psychopath, 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 does that mean I'm unworthy of love, unworthy of care? Does that mean no one should be there? Even if your friend or family member was a psychopath, hypothetically speaking, you still shouldn't bully them sadistically and reject them and try to metaphorically kill them, You should love your family member, even if they are a psychopath. You should treat them with warmth and affection and empathy. I'm not a psychopath, I'm schizoaffective, but if I were, does that mean I'm unworthy of love and care? Does that mean nobody should be there? Okay, that's one of my newer ones. We should love psychopaths, We should empathize with psychopaths. Actually, I think psychopaths is a bad diagnosis because they often do nefarious things. But I guess what I'm trying to say is you shouldn't reject and bully people, right? I could try the New York shit. I don't even know if I remember that one anymore. I gotta. I'm like a losing sports team, a sports team that's like shit. I'm like a losing sports team, a sports team that's like shit. The New York shit. The New York shit. Our home jersey is blue, but our third jersey is brown. And my father says, how appropriate, because that's exactly what this team is. Feces, poop. We're the New York shit. For the past 40 years, or maybe even 50 or 60 years, we have a long track record of losing. We're the laughing stock of the league. Everybody beats us. We never get our act together. My father says just once in his lifetime he wants to see this team win the championship, but it's never going to happen. It won't happen in my lifetime. In fact, this team will never win the championship again because they're atrocious. They're the New York shit. My father says, just sell the team. Sell them to Kansas City or Boston or California. I realize this, New York's a big market, but this team is just awful. The New York shit. He says, I'm hopeful someday they'll come back with determination and get their act together, but this team needs to be thrown in a toilet and flushed and plunged down the toilet. I'm like a losing sports team, a sports team that's like shit. I'm like a losing sports team, a sports team that's like shit. The New York shit. The New York shit. That's one of my newer ones. Anyone here? Yeah, it's obvious. Somebody says it's obviously based on the New York Jets or New York Islanders or New York Mets. Hello? Anyone? Anyone here? I guess not. Is my internet coming in slowly today? Anybody hear me? I think my internet's coming in. Am I having internet problems? Is anybody out there? Can anybody hear me? Somebody says you're muted. Um, for some reason, I think that something's going on with my internet connection. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Oh, yeah, Rusty's singing comfortably numb. All right. Ah, my leg is asleep. Damn it. Ah! Ooh, that was a painful one. I was sitting on my leg for like a half hour, and that was a bad one. Ooh. Yeah, man. That wasn't even really dramatic. I mean, it was dramatic, but it wasn't even like an act. It was really bad. All right. Somebody wants Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd, a Pink Floyd cover. Hello. Is there anybody in there? Just not if you can hear me. Is there anyone at home? Come on. I'm not gonna do a Pink Floyd cover today. It's too long. It's like 6 minutes. And I guess I could peace out here. Somebody wants a Queen cover. Bohemian Rhapsody. Is this the real life, or is this just fantasy? No, I mean that's. I mean, someone wants a vampire. Whoa, I'm a not today. Not today. I think I'm songed out, guys. Any last questions, or should I hit the old dusty trail? Should I hit the bricks here? Somebody says, play Freebird, damn it. Do Freebird. Somebody says, we want one last song. That's your choice. I guess it should probably be something Christmas related. I could do one of my newer Christmas songs. I could try I Believe in Santa. It's a little cringy, but I believe in Santa. I believe in Santa. My parents tell me to believe in Santa Claus. Because if you don't, you're going to be locked in the psychiatric hospital and medicated with a mega regimen of psychiatric medications. I say, I don't think Santa Claus is real. I think Santa Claus is a delusion. I don't think there's really a fantasy character at the North Pole who gives out presents to everyone. But my parents tell me you're delusional. Old Saint Nick is really, really slick. Andrew, scream out, I believe in Santa. I believe in Santa. If you say the opposite is true, we're gonna medicate you with a mega regimen of medications. We're gonna lobotomize your mind. So, if you don't believe in old Saint Nick, you're gonna be locked in the insane asylum. So I scream, I believe in Santa. Though I think it's delusional. I think Santa Claus isn't real. I don't know. That one's a little cringy. I'm trying my best. I don't know if I could top Sugar Daddy Santa. Somebody liked, obviously, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, or Rudolph, getting an ego because he became famous and rich, and me being like, yeah, I'm trying to make. I mean, I know Tara Social covered, I believe, in Santa. I mean, so I guess it's good. I guess it's good. It'll make the Christmas album probably. All right, guys. So, all right. So I could try the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. Somebody says you should learn to play the piano, Andrew, or the keyboard. Yeah, maybe I should. I think I'm gonna get going here. Just you could play the guitar, yes, or the sitar, Dave says, "Have a great Christmas." I think we will. And I hope you guys have a great holiday season too. Happy Hanukkah to my friends of Jewish descent and whatever. I mean, to people that celebrate Festivus, happy Festivus, and so on. Happy holidays. I can't say that any better than NSYNC. No matter what your holiday, it's a time to celebrate. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. So, unless you're like holiday is Satanism, which maybe don't celebrate that. All right, guys, adios, my amigos and amigas. Peace out.